Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is sort of an update video. I know I haven't made any videos in a while, and I know that this is going to be just for the actual fans of the channel. This won't get picked up by the algorithm very much, I'm sure of that. So I haven't made a video in a little while. I just wanted to catch you guys up with what I've been working on and what I'm going to get going here in the future. Actually, quite a few things have happened in the garage, in the shop, so to speak. I also want to talk about the channel in general. I guess I'll jump right into that. So actually coming up in October, I know we're a little ways away still, but coming up this October will be 10 whole years that I've been posting videos on this channel. I don't know what to say about it. It's, you know, I've moved to like, I don't know, 7 different homes during that time. I've changed a lot. My work has changed a lot. I've changed countries. But I just keep making videos because I like it. It's a fun hobby. And I love looking back on those videos and seeing where I was 5 years ago, now 10 years ago. And for me, it's just a lot of fun. And I also love to interact with the comments and the community. When I first started making videos, it was actually more about woodworking because that's what I was really into at the time. And I never got to be like a good woodworker, but I really loved watching other woodworking YouTube videos. Way back then. I still watch a lot of woodworking videos, even though I don't do too much woodworking myself. Although, hold on, I did make this, my very first bandsaw box. There's some peanuts in it. And I think it came out okay. I didn't do any kind of measurements. There was no measurements or anything. I just kind of winged it, so to speak. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Hang on. And it was just made with like one of these I guess oak cutoffs that somebody gave me. I have like a whole bunch of them. So that was a fun little project. But anyway, as I was saying, I started this channel off kind of woodworking, and then I got more into bikes. And honestly, looking back at my old bike videos, the adventure ones were fun, but like when I was trying to do maintenance and like fixing things and making things, I can't believe how little I knew, I guess, about bike mechanics at the time. And how much more I know now, although still there's a lot I don't know. Anyway, it's been a wonderful adventure. Honestly, I would never take it back doing the whole YouTube thing. Literally, I've met people in person, lots of people in person. I've like gone to YouTube kind of, you know, events. It's the community, both in person and in the comments, has been amazing and wonderful. Now, I don't have a lot of subscribers. And I know for some people that makes them feel kind of bad, maybe that, hey, I've been on here 10 years and I don't have that many subscribers. But honestly, for me, I think I have like 11,000 subscribers. And to me, that's insanely amazing. And like 3 million views. I mean, that's crazy. Like there's hardly any other time in history where a little guy like me can have over 3 million people listen to him. It's kind of like mind-blowing. So even though it's small compared to a lot of other channels, and some people might be disappointed in that, for me it's like, what the heck, like why are that many people even caring about what I'm saying or what I'm doing? Anyway, so yeah, here we go. 10 years. I am going to keep making videos, but I'm thinking of changing a little bit. And I know the algorithm isn't going to like it, and I hope you guys don't mind so much, but you may have seen a video I did, my last video, where I showed about my digital calipers that were actually rip-offs, knockoffs. I want to keep doing bike stuff, absolutely. There's a bike frame right there, I'll show you in a minute. There's another bike I got there, another bike I got over there, so I'm in love with bikes, don't worry about that. But I also wanted to show like some other things that I tinker around with in the shop because, I don't know, at the end of the day, I know this channel isn't going to have like 1 million subscribers or anything like that. So I'm kind of like, and honestly, it doesn't make much money. It makes like, I don't know. I don't even know, like $1,000 a year, which is nice, but you know, I can't live on that. So that's never going to happen. It's just a hobby. I get a little bit of money, and maybe it's a little more than 1,000, but it's not much. And I can use that money to like buy some tools or whatever, you know? So I know it's never going to be like a big blown up channel. So if it's not going to be that, why don't I just do what I want to do, what I want to see, and kind of log what I do around here? Because that's what I like. That's what I like to create. That's what I actually do. So even though I know it might hurt the performance of the channel in the long run, I think I'm gonna add in some other things. Like I could have made a video about that bandsaw box. I didn't, but I could have. Stuff like that. Of course, mostly it'll be still bikes. I have a recent kind of dream of getting a motorcycle, so if I do that, that could come into the videos. Anyway, that's kind of the direction I'm thinking for 2025. Of course, it'll be mostly about bicycles, but I might add in some other things too. I hope you guys don't leave me over that, but if you do, that's also fine because there's a lot of great content out on the platform. I don't blame you totally. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Let me show you some of the things going on. I guess I'll start off with the digital calipers. So I've started getting back into eBay a little bit, not selling, but buying. And so those digital calipers I bought, like I said, I don't know, they're like $110. They're on discount, but they turned out to be fake. So I thought, what if I just get the original ones that I used to use as a machinist, like, more than 15 years ago now? No, like 20 years ago, whatever it was, when I was really young, starting off as a machinist. I had these Mitutoyo old style digital calipers. I love them. I loved them before. I still love them. These are pretty much exactly, I think they are exactly what I used to use as a machinist, as a full-time machinist. And I bought these used on eBay, $50 shipped, and they're awesome. They lack a few features of the more modern ones, such as a wheel down here, but it works fine. I use these in my job, 8 hours a day. All day I would be measuring with these. When you turn them on, you do need to have them closed, otherwise they won't be zeroed right. So there's a few things like that you have to keep in mind with these kind of older ones. These are probably made, I don't know, in the mid 2000s or something. But honestly, they're so good. They're quality. They're quality, you know what I'm saying? So $50, I got a quality tool. I'm totally happy with it. I've had it for maybe a few weeks now or a month. Can't beat it. Other thing I bought also on eBay along the same lines is I wanted a digital angle finder. So I got this Klein Tools digital angle finder used on eBay. I want to say I paid like 20 bucks for it. I don't remember exactly, instead of like 39, or maybe I paid 25 instead of 39. So a little bit of a discount, but sorry, it's not focusing real well. There we go. But an awesome tool, also good quality. You can buy one off eBay or not eBay, but Amazon or on eBay too for less, $20 new. But I'd rather buy a used high quality tool from a good brand than a cheapo that's not going to last very long. So both these, I wouldn't be surprised if I take care of them and don't leave a dead battery in them forever. I wouldn't be surprised if they last the rest of my life, which is probably like another 40, 50 years. Other new tools, one of them you can see right behind me. I don't know if I showed that on any videos yet, but that is very cool. Let me get behind the camera and show you. This is a Craftsman Model 150 drill press, all iron. It was so heavy, I had to take the motor off just to be able to lift it off the ground onto my workbench. But I love it. It's so heavy, so cool looking, and it works so smoothly. It's way quieter than my little cheapo that I had before. That's the crazy part. It's actually bigger, but quieter. Cool thing too is it has a foot pedal, because this one was in a Coca-Cola factory, the man I bought it from told me. And I only paid $35 for this, and it works. Let me show you. What a beauty, huh? Love it. I love that old iron machinery. That is so cool. Very, very solid. I didn't restore it or anything. I just put a little bit of linseed oil on the iron just to keep it from further rusting, which seems to be working well. And it's, I think it'll outlast me if I take decent care of it. However, I might keep that forever, or I might not. I'm thinking about getting a milling machine, and if I do, I may not need this nor have the room for it. So I would like to think I'm keeping it forever, but I don't know. Another new tool. I won't spend much time on this. Not a big deal about it. This is a scroll saw. A friend of mine gave it to me. Pretty cool. I haven't used it much yet. But another thing that he gave me, same guy, was getting rid of, is a simple Craftsman half horsepower bench grinder. And I used a bench grinder a bunch when I was a teenager in my dad's shop, and this one works beautifully. I did need to put a wire wheel, and I chose to put a grinding stone on it, both from Harbor Freight. But one kind of cool thing I'll show you, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit, is it had a chip, had a broken piece in this tool rest, right? So I started brazing, and you can see here I repaired it. This is another piece of metal from another thing that I brazed on and repaired that chunk that was taken out of this tool rest. Actually, that piece of metal was the locking rail on a toolbox. Actually, on that gray toolbox. I never used the locking feature. You know how they have these bars that go down? So I'd used it actually on a bike rack many videos ago to support the rack, the front rack. And I still had that piece of metal laying around, so I cut the end of it off and brazed it on here. That to me is cool. I know there's not a lot of people who think that's super cool, but I love it. I love that it worked so well. I'm not a good brazier. That's one of my first brazing. It's my third time brazing. No, I guess it's fourth, but third time recently, and it came out pretty good. I have a little hole I missed here, but it's good enough. Good enough for what it is. Okay, so that brings me to the brazing setup. I got a little brazing setup here. Before I did that one, I did this. I was trying to just join these two random tubes I have. Came out kind of ugly, but I think I'm getting better since this. I've learned some lessons, and it certainly feels strong. I had it in the vise and I was trying to break it apart, but could not do that. I think the vise was gonna rip out of the table before this thing was gonna come loose. So it seems to be strong. Yeah, I have another cool project too. These glasses were from my laser cutter. They are not quite right. So I have a project coming up where I'm gonna try to do a DIY brazing glasses. So you'll see about that. Had this stainless steel, I just epoxied it onto this old table. I also threw some wheels on the table so I could roll it around, put some MDF on the bottom, you know, whatever. So this is kind of a movable table in the shop. Okay, back to brazing though. So you guys know I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to be paying for oxygen or acetylene or anything like that. So I'm doing it as cheap as possible, as always. And so I got a medical type oxygen concentrator. So that supplies my oxygen, and instead of acetylene, I'm using propane because it's way cheaper. So this isn't my idea. I've seen lots of like jewelers and stuff do this, and I think it was actually, what's his name? Cobra Bike Frame Supplies, whatever. I can't remember the guy's name, but I love his channel and I love all of his videos. I've watched all of them at least once, if not more than once. Anyway, he mentioned it, and so that's what got me to the idea to search it. So that's what I have set up, and it works actually really awesome so far. I got this Hoke torch. Got that on eBay also, by the way. Works really good as well so far. I'm still learning how to use it really well, but I'm so far really happy with this whole setup. And yeah, if you don't know, the oxygen concentrator gives you oxygen, 91 to 98% pure or something like that. I don't remember. And of course, propane. This is just like your normal propane grill. And you should remove this out of your garage overnight and when you're not using it, by the way, because if it leaks, it can cause an explosion. So just be warned about that. That's just in case anybody's watching this and ends up doing this kind of setup, I just want to tell you, you're not supposed to leave these in the garage like unattended long term, because if they leak, then the gas can go onto the floor and just pool, and then if there's a spark, you know, potentially you could have a huge explosion. So normally you're supposed to leave these outside. Okay, so what else to say? Okay, let's go to the bikes then. I think we've talked enough tools. All right, I feel like that Simpsons episode where Marge kept wearing the same outfit or same clothing and just kept re-sewing it and making it look different. But that's what's going on here. This is the Schwinn Latour that I have had 2 rebuilds already on it, and it's back in my garage because, well, I felt bad about it. Look how rusty it's become. The clear coat, the 2-part clear coat experiment, it didn't work. Look at that. Look how bad it's ended up being. Ugly, ugly, and sad. All over. We got tons of rust. So what am I doing with it this time? So I had this kind of crazy idea in my head. I want to make this my all-road bike. Currently I ride the Co-op ARD 1.1, which has been an awesome bike. I rode it today. I ride it like all the time. I like that bike, but it's not very cool. It doesn't have much of a cool factor. So what I want to do is replace that bike with this. This will be a all-road style bike, 35 mil tires. You can use it on the road. You can use it on a little bit of gravel. That's what I love about my Co-op ARD. So my idea is to use this frame to do something similar. Of course, it doesn't have disc brakes yet. So what am I doing here? I want to add disc brakes to this bike. So I started 3D printing stuff and fitting things and watching lots of videos, and I won't give it all away now and, you know, give the whole project away, but basically I'm trying to braze on, not this one of course, but I'll make one out of metal, a brake mount, a brake tab, so that I can add disc brakes to this bike, also the front fork as well. Then I will probably have the whole thing sandblasted, because that'll just be easier than trying to remove all this clear coat myself, and then I'll paint it again. So I found with this tool that I created, you saw it in my other video maybe, I created a tool, it wasn't my idea, other people have done it, that can tell you what size wheels and what size tires you can fit on your frame. And with this setup, I should be able to fit about 40 millimeters, or at least 38 with a 27.5. And I happen to have over there a 27.5 wheel, 27.5 front wheel. So that's kind of the plan. That's where I'm at on it. I will make some videos on it. This is a mounting tool, this 3D printed item, and I might make a video on how I'm gonna make one of these out of steel, which I think sounds pretty fun. That's this project. I wanna make an all-road bike that looks very cool. I'm thinking about painting it gray and having like a white Schwinn, a little more traditional in terms of that compared to what I've did to it last time. So I'll have a Schwinn decal, kind of make it look more traditional, but with disc brakes, 35 mil tires. I think it'd be pretty cool. The trouble I'm having now, just kind of looking, I'm not seeing a lot of 35 mil, 27.5 tires out there. So if you know of some, let me know, that aren't too expensive would be great. Okay, another bike, and I know this won't be that exciting to most people. Obviously, this is just a boring city bike. In fact, I picked this up yesterday. Picked this guy up for just $10 yesterday. It does ride, other than it has a rear flat tire. Actually popped on me when I was test riding it in my street, and it was really loud. I never had that before, but it really just went pop, really loud. It scared me. But anyhow, other than that, it actually rides, but it needs a lot of work. But it's interesting to me, it's Union brand, which I think I'd heard of. It's a Union Holland brand. And so I did a little bit of research on it, not a ton, but I did a little bit of research on it. And this bike is pretty common in the Netherlands. And it's a Dutch brand. And it looks to me, just looking at it, it was probably made in the 70s or maybe 80s. Obviously a steel frame, obviously a lugged steel frame. And I think it'll be pretty cool just to have like a nice, comfortable, upright sitting bike just to cruise around on. So $10, I was gonna just flip it. I was gonna get it for 10 bucks, clean it up and resell it, but I think I'm gonna keep it. And one thing that's kind of special to me about it is I seen this on the back. Look at this. This bike was originally sold in Düsseldorf, Germany, Deutschland. Yep. And interestingly, this rack was made in Switzerland. And as if you're a fan and you're watching still on this video, might know, I lived in Switzerland for 9 years. I've been to Germany lots of times. I love Germany. I love Switzerland. So to me, this is kind of a special bike. It literally was made probably in the Netherlands and then shipped over to Düsseldorf, Germany, which isn't that far, I don't think. Sold there in the 80s, and then somebody brought it all the way to the US for whatever reason. Now it needs some work. It has an internal, looks like a 3-speed hub, but the cable is completely gone from it. So I need to figure out how to mess with that. It does ride, but it's in a pretty low gear, I can tell. Cool thing is this lock actually works and the key is actually still there. So that's cool. I might make a whole video on it, but like the grips are good. The front wheel at least seems pretty aligned. I don't know about the back really. Used to have, kind of cool, used to have I can see it used to have a generator. This is for the lights. So because in Switzerland I saw a bunch of these on old bikes. It's like a motor that gets turned by the wheel. The power gets generated and into these wires and onto that light. And the front might probably used to have something similar, because somewhere I could see a tab. Yep, and here's the wire. I didn't notice that before, but there's the wire. So very traditional, very common looking city bike, train bike that you may see in Germany or anywhere in Europe. Surprisingly, the saddle is still in good condition, really good. Don't know if that's original, probably wouldn't be. But anyway, kind of exciting to me. Let me show you another bike that I bought. Oh yeah, Specialized Hard Rock. Now, this one I have up for sale actually. It needs a lot of work. The frame is straight and almost totally rust free, but the rest of the bike, although it will ride, you can ride it, you can pump the tires up and ride it, it's rough. It's really rough. There's missing spokes, rusty spokes. Basically, this bike is a frame that you're buying to, I mean, you could fix it up and ride it as is, but what I wrote in the ad, I think, is you're kind of buying a rolling frame here that you can, fix up. And the reason I'm selling it, honestly, is it's just a little too big for me. I think it's like a 20-inch or something like that. I usually go for like 17, maybe 18. So I don't want to spend all the time and all the money fixing up a bike that's just going to be a little too big for me. That's the main whatever. So I went and picked it up. I paid $35 for it, which I thought was a nice deal. Yeah, so pretty cool bike though, but for somebody just a little bit bigger than me. I think I already showed you guys the GT. I've been riding that, enjoying that. I get a lot of compliments from people on that, so that's cool. Change the handlebars out. Don't know if I mentioned that. Something a little more modern. That really, I hated to do it because I thought that it would be faster and cooler with the older, narrower handlebars and longer stem. It just feels so much better with the wider stem, to be completely honest. So, wider bars. So I went to the wider bars and I'm not looking back on that. It's getting a little bit crowded in the garage nowadays, and I don't like that. But for the 5 or 6 of you that are still watching, thank you for watching. I'm going to keep making videos. I'm looking into like frame building. That's really what I'm kind of wanting to do down the road a little bit. First, I'm going to try some brazing disc brake tabs. I have some other ideas about brazing, so I want to kind of build up my skill on that before I jump into building an actual frame. I'm also trying to figure it out in CAD. I am a very competent CAD user, but I'm trying to figure out like which platform I want to do for this project. Do I want to go with the bike CAD route or what? So I'm trying to figure out all that. But I think I've rambled enough. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and let me know what you think about all these things I'm working on, any of this stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye.